Hey everybody, I'm JJ Johnson. You're watching Reality Survival. Hey, can you take the dog upstairs?
Yeah. So
Thanks.
You start.
Yep, I just started. Upstairs fire. Hey everybody. So I'm back. So I wanted to talk about food preparation. I also want to let you know that our sanitation video has been postponed until tomorrow night. So for the prepper trifecta chats with Prepper Logic and the Lord Humongous. Hey, what's going on, DB? So we'll upload that tomorrow. Sorry, I just ate dinner. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. we'll do that. 6 p.m. Clint, you cracked me up. 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Okay, so I wanted to start off with talking about food preparation, food storage, and all that kind of thing. What does it really take to put together 1 year's worth of food? Hey, what's going on, William? Well, I can tell you that I think that I know the cheapest way. Probably it's got to be close anyway. If it's not the cheapest, it's close, and that is plain old rice and pinto beans. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys. I just bought some. It's $200 worth is what it ends up coming up to as far as cost wise, and that was shopping at Sam's Club. So I was getting the 50-pound bags for like $16.54 each. And then I got 6 of those bags, and that was $96 roughly, plus tax. And then for the pinto beans, I actually did this online at walmart.com. I should have gotten the pinto beans at Sam's Club though, because you can get them a little cheaper at Sam's Club. So I actually shorted myself 20 pounds worth of beans. But anyway, so what I did is I got 17 8-pound bags, which is 136 pounds at walmart.com. And they were $5.88 each. So that was $99.96. So for under $200, you can have 436 pounds of food. Now, here's the problem. Here's the problem with rice and beans, okay? You can't just eat rice and beans. Can't do it. Don't care how much you think you like it, or if you're like, I'll eat it if I'm starving. No, if you try to eat 436 pounds of rice and beans, you will starve to death, because a couple of weeks, maybe a month into it, you will be so sick of rice and beans that you won't eat. You literally will stop eating. And I know that sounds crazy, and I know you think I'm nuts, but if you don't have some variety in the mix, then it's downhill big time. So how does that work out as far as calories and all that kind of stuff goes? So rice is 1,655 calories per pound, and so we got 1,655 times 300 pounds. That's 496,500 calories. Then with pinto beans, they are 1,588 per pound. 1,588 calories per pound times 136 pounds is 215,968 calories, for total calories of 712,468. Like I said, if you buy the 12-pound bags at Sam's Club, you can get 13 of them for the same price that you can get the 17 at walmart.com. And that will give you 156 pounds instead of 136. So that'll actually take your calories up just a touch, and you'll still be right at $200. So the total calories that you need for a year are, 365 days, 2,000 calories is 730,000 calories. And this is, basically if you got the 20-pound or the 12-pound bags, you would be right at exactly what you need for a year. But with what I did, it's 712,000. So you're like 15,000 calories short. So here's what I recommend as far as food preparation and food storage and all that kind of stuff. Let me just touch on this one more time. I don't know if I made it clear when I was saying this. Only eating rice and beans is really not an option. It's really not. The rice and beans you use when they're combined, when rice and beans are combined, they make a complete amino acid chain, and they're a good meat substitute, sort of. But you have to have the two combined, because just having beans or just having rice, it doesn't work. But together they make a good amino acid chain, is my understanding. I'm not a nutritionist or anything, but that's my understanding. So here's what you use the rice and beans for. You use the rice and beans as filler to go in with other foods and to give away, and that kind of stuff. So that's how it's a part of the preparations for prepping and all that kind of stuff. So here, let me go through the steps of what I recommend as far as your food preparation and how your food storage and how you should start. The first thing that you should do is buy some sort of 1 month food bucket. Okay, that's the first thing. And you take that bucket, it's like a 1 month supply, and you want to basically have one bucket for each person in your house. Okay, that's not actually a full month worth of food. In most of the things, the legacy foods is pretty close to an actual month. But anyway, you get a bucket per person and you put it in the back closet somewhere. You hide it. You don't think about it. You put it away. Okay, that's your first step. All right. Then your next step is fill your pantry with foods that you eat. With foods that you eat often and foods that you can rotate through. Okay, we're talking about canned goods. We're talking about, whatever the stuff is that you normally eat, not Twinkies and stuff, but, and you can try to gear this a little towards the stuff that stores longer, like canned goods and stuff, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, it can just be whatever you normally eat. But fill your pantry with that stuff. In a normal size pantry in a normal house, you can probably, if you fill it up and keep it full, you can probably survive off of that for a month or two, depending on how big it is. Some houses in 3 months. I'm lucky. I got 2 pantries here at my house, so we can go quite a while. So that's step 2, is filling your pantry full of the stuff that you eat, and you want to rotate through that from front to back on a regular basis. Every time you go to the store, you just get more of what you need, and you just keep that pantry stocked. Okay. Step 3 is rice and beans. That's, like I said, what I described to you earlier, the 6 bags of rice and the 17 bags of pinto beans comes up to 1 year's worth of food for one person. So if you got 4 people in your family, you're going to want to do that times 4, right? Now this is a system. It's all going to work together. So bear with me here. Okay. So then you get your rice and beans and you put that up, and you put it up, and I'm going to show you guys a video doing this here pretty soon, but I couldn't do it tonight. Then you get you some buckets, and this is a Gamma Seal lid. You don't have to use that. You can use a regular one, and some Mylar bags and stuff like that, and put your rice and beans, in your buckets. And I'll go over that in a separate video for you. So you got your 1 month bucket, you got your pantry full, then you buy your rice and beans. The next step, number 4, is start buying these 1 month buckets. Okay. And my recommendation is to do it from a variety of vendors. And what you want to do is you want to have the one month bucket from a variety of vendors for start off shooting for every 2 months. but try to get to the point where you have it for every month. Okay. And so what you're doing then is you want to have a bucket for each person for, say, every 2 months. Okay. Then you want to work towards a year for each person. Then what you do is when you're making these things up, when you're making these meals up, these are from Mountain House. This other one's over here is Wise. And I'll talk about the difference between these, the primary difference anyway, a little later. But then you can take your rice and beans and you add some of that to the meal, okay? So that you're supplementing that all together, and you're making this go. This right here is a 2 servings per container, and each serving is only 240 calories. So you can take this and you can easily double the caloric capacity, if not more, by adding rice and beans to it. And so those packages serve as the base for the spices and the salt and the different flavorings and all that kind of stuff. All right. And you can make it go a lot longer, than what you can just trying to just eat these. Okay. So you can stretch it way out and you can make it go a lot further and make it last a lot further. So and then the last step and the next step is you can get into, and you could do these obviously in whatever order you want. This is just my recommendation. Getting like, I actually missed a step. I'm sorry. After the rice and beans, the next step is the LDS Cannery. Okay. And you want to get some of the staples and some of the basics from the LDS Cannery. So I apologize. I messed that up because I don't have any notes today. I'm just going off the top of my head. Let me show you the LDS Cannery here. Where did it go? Dang it. Hang on just a second. See if I can find it. There it is. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you want to go to the LDS Cannery and you want to get some of the staples. All right. So you've got stuff like apple slices, black beans, carrots, hard wheat, and you basically use a grinder to make that into flour. And then you've got macaroni, non-fat dry milk, onions, pinto beans. Obviously, you won't need to buy those. Potato flakes, quick oats, refried beans, regular oats, spaghetti bites, sugar, white beans, flour, white rice, and hard red wheat. And one other page. You got some fruit drink mix, some granola, some hot cocoa, some pancake mix, potato pearls, and then just some supplies and stuff. So they don't have a lot at the cannery at the LDS, and I'll put a link to it down in the description below. They don't have a whole lot of stuff here. I recently purchased some stuff from the LDS Cannery, and I was able to get for about $460. I was able to get about 10 of the cases that we were just looking at, and each one of those cases has 6 number 10 cans in it. Okay, so they're pretty cheap for getting the staples and stuff like that. And most of that stuff is all good for 25 years. Some of it is 15 to 20, just depending. But most of it is 25 years. So that's a good thing to stock up with, and you can use that with adding to these different kinds of meals, okay, and making those go a lot further, stretch those things out. All right. The other reason that you want to use a variety of different sources for getting your food buckets these like 1 month buckets, 3 month buckets, all that kind of stuff, is variety of menu, because you get a lot of different varieties of menus depending on the different manufacturers and all that kind of stuff, which is going to be something that you want. Okay, you do want variety. You don't realize how much variety is in your diet naturally, but there's a lot there. The other thing is if you have a bad batch from one company, you didn't just buy it all and have one big batch go bad or whatever. That's not real likely, but it is one of the reasons that I like to get a variety of different things. So having a variety of menu, and then also making sure that you're getting it from different companies so that you don't have any, multiple bad batches. I think that's important. Let me see here. And that's pretty much it. Once you get to that point, then you can just, if you want to say you do 2 years, then you do another, purchase of, like at the Lds Cannery, another purchase of rice and beans, and then you just continue to add the buckets from 3, 4, 5 different companies to your stocks, and now you've got 2 years worth. So it really is a pretty good system that's going to give you, it's going to help you not have to purchase as much of this stuff, so that, you just basically, you don't have to spend as much money. It's cheaper, You can also do stuff like getting into canning with gardening and all that kind of stuff. That is, kind of more into the homesteader kind of advanced side of it. I'm really trying to keep it to the kind of the basics here, but there's definitely a lot of merit to that. I showed you guys, canning, using like mason jars and stuff like that for canning up beans and pancake mix and all those different kinds of things. You can do that. You can do that stuff in buckets as well. And there's a lot of long-term foods. Hey, what's going on, Guns and Gear Network? There's a lot of long-term foods and stuff that you can stock up on, like from Sam's Club and all that kind of stuff too. Things that don't go bad and those kinds of things. So those are always good to add to your stocks. Okay. But the thing is that a lot of those foods that don't go bad are not, they're not meals that you're going to be able to eat. They're the staples, but they're not stuff that you can actually just make a meal out of. But you could definitely take and add those things to some other freeze-dried meals, some other things, and be able to come up with good stuff. So, so that's my take on kind of how I go about the food preparation. Hopefully it makes sense. Like I said, I didn't have any notes here. I'm just kind of popping this up tonight because we ended up postponing that other video. So I wanted to get something out, and this was something that I had been wanting to talk about. So it's fairly easy, to get a year's worth of food for one person, like I said, with just that rice and beans. The problem is you're really not going to be able to get it. So Mr. Red Taco, he says, "Hey JJ, do you prefer to try the food out first before you go buy a bin of it? It's more expensive, but at least you'll know what it's like." Yeah, so we definitely do try this stuff out. So and I've done lots of reviews over the years of trying different ones from different companies and all that kind of stuff. And really, that I can't really stress that variety portion of it enough. And after a big event, let's say you're having to eat out of your food stores, something happened or whatever, something that maybe right now this didn't taste that good. I haven't tried this one yet, but we are going to do some reviews on some Mountain House and some Wise that we just recently got here pretty soon. But let's say it didn't really taste that good. Say we didn't really like it, but it was okay. The thing is that once you are into an SHTF situation and you don't have all the normal foods that you have, when you go back to try this, it's probably going to be like, damn, that's good. You know what I mean? Because you've been eating a lot more of those staples, a lot of those rice and beans and the oatmeal and, those kind of things to pack in the calories. And so stuff like that, even if it doesn't taste good now, it's probably going to taste a whole lot better then, because your taste buds are going to be going through some changes and all those kinds of things. So, that's, I think that's probably the best way to go about it. But, I'm also learning as I go and all that kind of stuff too. So I could definitely be wrong. But the thing is that you can, really with probably say about $1,000 for a family of 4. I'm just guessing here. You can probably have 3 to 4 months worth of food, stocked up and put in the, in long-term storage. And that's just off the top of my head. I don't know for sure. And I'm talking about, like some stuff from the Lds Cannery, some stuff from like Mountain House or Wise, some stuff, the rice and beans and the staples, kind of a good mixture of all that would actually be fairly sustainable. Let me say this about beans real quick, and just so that you guys understand this, and I'm sure that you do. But dried beans, they're a pain in the butt to cook, man. You got to let them soak for like a day or 2, and then you got to cook them for several hours and to get them good and soft. So they are really very resource intensive when it comes to heating them up and all that kind of stuff. So that's why it's important, like we talked about with the kind of the prepping fundamentals, is having stored BTUs, having fuel saved up so that you can do extended amounts of cooking and all that kind of stuff. Because if you're using dried beans and stuff like that, it takes a lot of fuel. So you have to factor that into your cost also. It's not really as cheap as you make it think. You may think that it is. And what you'll end up doing is you'll end up getting about, so like 1 cup of dried beans will turn into like 3 cups of actual, cooked beans. You're adding a lot of water to them. So you're also having to go out and get water, and so that is resource intensive as well. Same thing with rice. You're having to add rice. Rice doesn't take as long to cook, but it does soak up a lot of water. And it's probably double or triple, the amount that you're getting out of it too. So the main point with this thing is really to stress, A, that you need to have variety. B, that just rice and beans alone is not the right answer. Okay. And if that's what you're doing it wrong, and you're going to hate it. You're going to hate it, and you'll probably end up starving, because you cannot just eat rice and beans. Let's see here. Oh, I was going to talk to you a little bit about the difference between Mountain House and Wise. So as you guys know, I've talked to you about this multiple times. I'm an affiliate now with both of these companies, as well as Legacy Foods and Valley Foods and Augustin and the Ready Store. And I've got all the links to those affiliates down below. And so what I would recommend to you is when you're going about buying these different things, just go search for the sales. Go scan the sales. Try to find them where you can get them, 30 to 60% off, because all the companies pretty regularly have sales like that. And so that's the point at which I start thinking about when I want to buy, is in somewhere in that 30 to 60% range, when I can get them off of the MSRP. I would never pay MSRP for any of these. There's just no reason to, because all the companies run sales. So I would just watch those, and when you find a good deal, you want to add up the calories, and you want to look at the cost, and then divide that out and see how much you're paying per calorie or per 1,000 calories or whatever, and then then go ahead and make those purchases. But there's no reason to pay MSRP for them, so I just wouldn't do that. So the biggest difference between Wise and Mountain House that I have seen over the years is that, as a general rule, Mountain House normally has real meat in it. Okay. and Wise, generally speaking, doesn't have meat in it. They will normally have it's like a fake meat. I forget what the name of it is. I'm sorry, but it's like a protein, kind of like a fake kind of meat thing. And it's not bad. It doesn't mean that it's bad. Okay, like I said, you really want to have that variety of types of menus. So you'll generally see that Wise is generally cheaper, and they run a lot more sales on the stuff too. But it does seem like to me that they have more variety in their menus, and they switch those up quite a bit. Whereas Mountain House, it's kind of the gold standard when it comes to freeze-dried food. They've been around forever. I think they're the oldest. I don't know for sure if they are, but I think they're the oldest. It's probably between them and Augustin. I don't know. But they've been around a long time. And like I said, they have real meat in their foods. And when you look at the ingredients, I mean, it says, turkey, white meat turkey. That's what it's telling you. That's what's in there. It's not some kind of a weird protein, kind of supplement. Also with Wise, you'll get a lot of different soups and stuff like that. Whereas with Mountain House, you tend to get more like, entrees, like pepper steak. And then we have what is this one? Turkey casserole, chicken fajita bowl, and then the breakfast ones are actually pretty good too on Mountain House. They've got some pretty sweet breakfast ones. So the thing is, you're going to pay a little bit more for the Mountain House ones. Okay. And that's just the way it's going to be because they have better ingredients, So like I was saying, as you're trying to add a bucket per month of people in your family, maybe you only do Mountain House every couple of months or every maybe third month or something, and you throw in a Mountain House bucket for that because it's got the real meat and all that kind of stuff. You kind of look forward to it or whatever. But that's not to necessarily discount the Wise ones. They're still very tasty and they're still very good, and they've got tons and tons of spices, and salt and all that kind of stuff. You can mix in some rice, you can make it thicker, and it just works pretty well. And it's handy. The reason, just grabbing some more of their ones here. The reason that it's handy is because you've got it in portion size packages. That's why I like these buckets. So you've already got them down into portion size packages, and for, like I said, these are normally 2 servings as a general rule. Some of these are 4. Some of the Wise, actually, I might take that back. It looks like in this bucket, a lot of the Wise are 4 servings per container. So you're getting a little bit more calories in these than you were, say, with the Mountain House at 240 and 2 servings. So there's something to think about too. Even though you're not getting the real meat, you're getting a little bit more servings. But you can take that 4 servings that's fairly light because, 190 or 200 calories, which is what 240, 200, a lot of these is not, this was 270, is not a lot. And it's not really, like this one says 4 servings, but it's 150 calories per serving. So hearty tortilla soup. Super easy to add some beans and some rice into this to make it way thicker and way more calorically dense. But you've already got your seasoning and everything right there, and you can stretch that out. So obviously in a SHTF situation, in a homestead situation, after, all the stuff's gone down and you're trying to raise rabbits or chickens and you're doing trapping and hunting and all that kind of stuff, boom, you can add meat in with this real stuff, with this stuff, and it's going to taste a whole lot better. So, there's ways to supplement all this stuff and to kind of work with the strengths and all that kind of stuff. The Legacy Foods, they've got a lot of really great menus as well. and they have notoriously larger serving sizes, heavier amounts, bigger amounts, and all that kind of stuff. Valley Foods, they were kind of just in the middle on everything. They had pretty good recipes. They were, non-GMO and organic and all that kind of stuff, just like pretty much all these guys are. Let's see here. Augustin is one that I have some of it, but I haven't tried yet. That I haven't tried some of their recipes, and I need to break into some of their stuff and give those a shot. So I can't comment really on the taste on those. But they're all fairly good. I mean, they're not. I think I had some. What was it called? E-Foods or something like that a long time ago. And it was pretty good, but you really had to cook it a lot longer than what it said. It was like twice as long because they had a lot of like dried beans and different things in there and stuff. I haven't tried Eden Valley Farms, Pedro, so I can't really comment on those. So a lot of people will talk trash about Mountain House, but the reality is that when you're getting actual meat and all that kind of stuff in there, and theirs do taste very, very good. They're not bad. And the Wise is also good. We've got a few videos on that, and we're going to have some more videos on some of these different ones here pretty soon. Xander, my son, is a pretty finicky eater, and so if he'll eat the stuff, then you know that it's pretty decent, because he just doesn't like a lot of stuff. And he's liked a lot of the ones that we've tried in the past. So anyhow, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. If you guys have got questions on food storage and stuff, then put them in all caps, and I will try to answer them here real quick. I'll try to go back through and see what I missed as well, but it's hard to see everything quickly. So yeah, Chili Expat family. The cool thing is you don't have to go to Sam's Club. I do have a link for the 50-pound bag, although it's a little bit more expensive, from Amazon down in the description below if you want to get that rice. And then there's pinto beans and stuff on Amazon as well. I couldn't find any of the 8 or 12-pound bags, but if you go to walmart.com, then, and I don't know if you live in America or if you live wherever in Chile or whatever, but you can get them. If they'll ship it to you, then you can get it through walmart.com also. And then there's Sam's Club online too. You can order from there as well. Be Prepared says black beans have much more nutritional value than pintos. Yeah, and what I do is, for me, I store a variety of different beans. I have the 7-bean soup stuff, and then I also have the black beans. I also have kidney beans. I also go with white and navy beans. I go with a lot of different ones because you'll just get tired of beans as a general rule. So that's just a thought. Then he also said 125 pounds of potatoes are $12. That's pretty cool. And you can sprout those potatoes and grow them in the garden, do your little potato towers and stuff. So yeah, that's definitely something as well. Beans, musical fruit. Yeah, John mentioned about soaking the beans, and soaking the beans is you got to think ahead, man, because like I said, you're going to soak them for a day or two sometimes. I mean, depending on how hard they've gotten and all that. Using them in like a crock pot or something maybe, or if you have electricity. If you don't have electricity, then you're going to want to put them in a big pot with a bunch of water in there, and you're going to have like a propane stove or something underneath them, and just be going away at them. And they're not the greatest, man. They're really not. A lot of people really put a lot of stock into rice and beans, and they're good as a filler. They're good to have to have that calorie base there, and to be able to hand out, like 1-gallon Ziploc bags of rice and beans to people who came and and you didn't want to turn away empty-handed or something like that, you know. But they're just not the best thing at all. So, all right. Yeah, lentils are definitely another option to add in there too. Clint said rotation is important. Absolutely. Yeah, DB. So on the he suggests using 1 gallon Mylar, and that is definitely an option. Right now, the last Mylar that I ordered, I just ordered the 5 gallon ones, but I'm considering putting like some 1 gallon, some rice in a 1 gallon, some like pintos or kidney beans or whatever in a 1 gallon, and then maybe some flour and some sugar and some salt, and kind of putting a variety of different things into each 5 gallon bucket. That's certainly a possibility that you could absolutely do. Yeah, peanut butter doesn't store all that long from what I understand, but powdered peanut butter will store for a couple of years anyway. Little one Tyler is mentioning that. Yeah, honey is obviously awesome. It lasts forever. So, all right. Yeah, John, also the split peas are all definitely way better than whole dried peas because they do get too hard and you're never going to get anything out of them. Let's see here. You guys are chatting it up here. Yeah, storing water is hugely important. That's something that we've been talking about a lot here lately. And you know, having enough water on hand to drink and everything is very difficult. So knowing where your water sources are around you, having a plan for gathering the water and all that kind of stuff, it's huge. And I've got I'll show you a video of some of the things that I'm planning on doing this summer for as far as sanitation and water and all those kinds of things, because that's going to be next up on some of my project list stuff. So Leo Santini asks, can you store minute rice? So I don't know, to be honest with you. If any of you guys know, put it down in the comments below. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't think that the storage life on that is as long as regular long grain dried rice, because you know, regular long grain dried rice, if stored properly, will last 30 years or more. So it'll last a long time. I don't think that minute rice will, because I'm fairly certain that the way that they make minute rice is that it's kind of pre-cooked and then dried to a certain degree, and then that way it rehydrates quicker when you do it. But I'm not 100% sure. Okay. All right. So this is interesting. Mr. Morris says, fun fact: mixing beans with different spices, and making your own gravy via bean juices. Flour will last months on that and gives you time to add anything else you require. That's interesting. Hey, so I've picked up this conflicted game the other day. I saw a bunch of people are talking about this. Jeff Kirkham over at Ready Man and Che had done a couple of videos, and there's been a couple other preppers that have done the videos on the questions on these cards. Is that something that you guys are interested in? Would you be interested in discussing those kinds of things? Have you guys even seen these cards? Do you know what they are? Let me fast forward down here through the comments real quick because I was getting behind. Yeah, okay. Colorado Biker Prepper. I make my own ration packs with dehydrated foods from the Mormon canneries and other resources and packaging in Marlar bag. Yeah, you can absolutely do that, man. There's definitely some good ways to go about that. I've thought about doing a video on like homemade MREs and stuff for a while. There's certainly some stuff that you can do like that. So here's the deal with these cards. What they are, it's a card game. You sit down and play with people, and whoever it is that came up with this, and I'm not even sure who it is, has put a scenario on here. And it's a scenario that's supposed to be conflicting. It's supposed to be like, I don't know. And what you do is you read the card, and then so you read it out loud, and then everybody gives their answer on what they would do. And the person who read the card gets to choose the best answer, and then he'll give that card to them, and at the end of the game, whoever has the most cards wins. So it's pretty easy card game, but this is a great way to have, you know, friends and people and you know, over or whatever, and talk with them about prepping without actually giving a whole lot away or anything like that. So I thought this was cool. It's called the Conflicted card game. Conflicted. Somebody was asking, Eris was asking. So let me just give you for an example on this, on what it says. And there's obviously, and they have like 10 or 12 different decks. This is just the deck number 1. They've got 10 or 12 different decks where they've gone through. They've got tons and tons of these things. So I'm just going to read this one real quick for you. It says, a nearby city has just been nuked. Thankfully, you planned ahead and prepared a small underground bunker, fully stocked for you and your family. Your family is safely inside, and you start to close the hatch when your front door slams open with 6 frantic neighbors. The nuclear fallout is pouring into your neighborhood as your neighbors grab the hatch. They're trying to force their way in. There is not enough room or food in the bunker for them. You only have time for 2 choices. You can either let them in and risk your family's survival, or raise your pistol and shoot innocent people through the hatch. What would be your decision? So it's kind of interesting, right? And they kind of limit it to 2 decisions. But for me, and the way that I would do it if I was going to do videos, is I would look at alternatives. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's not a lot of information. So you'd have to think about multiple other factors and all that kind of stuff. You know, it would, but it's an interesting question, and I think that these are kind of interesting cards, and I don't know if they would make really good videos or not, but I kind of thought about doing it. Like I said, there's several channels and people that have been out there and doing it on Facebook and different groups and on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So Tom says, "Don't shoot the chicks." Yeah, that's kind of funny. So anyway, yeah, I thought about maybe doing some videos on these and seeing how it goes. I don't know 100% for sure if I will or not, but it might be kind of interesting just to get you guys thinking about different potential scenarios and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And maybe it'll get us out of the Mr. Morris, you're just not right in the head. He says, let them in and increase your meat storage. That's just wrong. Yeah, so Colorado Biker Prepper says, we've done it on some old prepper chats on YouTube in the past on TR Prepper's channel. Yeah, so I think it's been around a while. I'm not saying that this is a new idea by any stretch, and I'm kind of taking it from other folks and seeing that they've done it. But I had never seen the card game until recently, when I started seeing these things going around. And so I wanted to order it and kind of look through it. And there's definitely some interesting scenarios and interesting questions and all that kind of stuff that might be kind of fun to talk about. So we'll see. I may do some videos on that. Okay, I think that was pretty much it. I don't think I have anything else. Tomorrow we will do the premiere on the sanitation after SHTF. So that's kind of what the focus is. It's like, you know, top 10 tips for sanitation after SHTF, and it's a long one. The video that I did is a long one, so plan ahead if you want to watch the whole thing, or just put it on ×2, fast forward, because it's like 55 minutes. And I did not even cover probably half of the stuff that I would have liked to have been able to cover, because sanitation is hugely important. And tomorrow's the Super Bowl. That's too funny. I didn't even know that because I don't watch sports. So we normally will do these at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. But that's hilarious that the Super Bowl is going on. So there'll be like 3 people watching the video, or whatever during the. That's funny. Whatever. I don't think any of us are real big sports guys. I think Eric might be a little bit more so, but I don't know if Che and I both are. I know I'm not. I don't really pay attention to it. So, anyway, that's what we're planning on doing. Go Pats. Yeah, I don't have any dog in that fight one way or another. I just really don't even ever watch. Once they started, I mean, honestly, let me just say this: I have never been a big football fan. I used to play it in high school and stuff like that, but once they started with all that kneeling and all that garbage, I was like, dude, I don't care. So anyway, yeah, if you guys are going to be buying some food, okay, if you're going to be getting Mountain House, if you're going to be getting Wise, if you're going to be getting whatever the case may be, I definitely appreciate it when you use the links in the description below. That really helps us out a lot because that's what we're trying to do is we're trying to find affiliate companies and places that you guys might use for your preps, and then asking you to go to those places and use the affiliate link. You can find all the affiliate links at realitysurvival.com. All you got to do is just go to the right-hand sidebar of the main landing page or any page on the site, actually. And all the affiliates will have links there. They'll have ads, basically, is what it looks like. And it's a trackable link. And so when you enter their store through my page, through those links, then it'll give us credit. And it gives us a little bit, small percentage of your purchase, and it doesn't cost you anything more. So, I definitely appreciate it when you guys do that. We try to make it as easy as possible to do that. And, because I don't want to have to do Patreon. Patreon is also doing a lot of stuff with free speech and shutting people's accounts down, just like YouTube did, and all that kind of jazz. And I just don't really think that's the right way to go, for me anyway. But we've got affiliates with like 37 different companies now, and they're all ones that are very popular and big prepper types of companies. So I appreciate it when you use it. Anyhow, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. If you've got any other questions before we go, let me know.
Hi.
There he is.
I was watching. You may have noticed my he got a little ree.
Okay, stop with all that nonsense. All right. As always, guys, I definitely appreciate it when you click the thumbs up button, when you share it with your friend or with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus. And don't forget to live the 6 Ps.
Proper prior preparation prevents poor performance.
All right. Take care, guys. We'll see you later.